So you would say that they're actually ahead of us, and I've heard this for years that they're ahead of us in mobile technology because they manufacture most of the mobile technology that we use. The
You
HTCs, the
know,
Sonys of the world, they actually comes from over there.
yeah, it's the adoption of the technology that's quicker than us. So we may have the innovation and we may have the know-how, but the American public is not as quick to adopt the technology. Does that make sense? We're
Absolutely.
a little
Yes.
more resistant. I mean, how long did it take some of us, some of the people you know, to adopt a cell phone? You know, I mean,
Yes.
remember, I mean, there were some people, my family members, who would not get a cell phone forever.
Yeah.
And now they have it. Now everyone has one. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying the adoption is not as quick in the United States as it is in like South Korea or Japan.
Absolutely.
So those countries are a lot quicker. In terms of modernization, Singapore and Shanghai are two Asian cities that are more modern than some of our modern cities. Our cities are modern, but they're not as new. Like Shanghai, they have new skyscrapers they built 15 years ago, 10, 15 years
Absolutely.
ago.
Yeah.
Skyscrapers.
Yeah.
When was the last time LA had? Oh, you guys aren't. I know you're not from LA, but when was the last time
So
LA
I'm
had
from
a
LA.
skyscraper? Right?
Yeah, I
We
actually
haven't.
used to live in LA. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we haven't built a new skyscraper in 40
Yeah.
years. I don't know. I mean, you know, in Manhattan, aside from the World Trade Center, when was the last time they built a new skyscraper? So everything looks a little dated in New York and Manhattan and LA. You go to Shanghai, it's brand new. It's like sparkling. It's like they just built it, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like a new Mercedes Benz that they just built. You know what I mean? Like it just
Right.
looks different. And then when I've spent so many I've been to Shanghai 12 times in the last year and a half. When I went to Miami, you know, I walked around like, man, everything looks like small and like old. And then I went to Manhattan. I go, everything looks so dirty. You know, I'm saying relatively speaking, I love both cities. I'm a proud American. I feel like
Right.
I'm dogging on my country, but I'm not. I love Miami and New York. I'm just saying that relative to Shanghai, it's
Mhm.
there's no competition.
And man,
I
one
would
thing I
the images that I've seen of Shanghai, it's the architecture is it seems light years ahead of what we're doing right now because most of our architecture was built 40, 50 years ago.
Yep, you're
So
right. That explains it. It's not nothing against us. It's just that we built it in a different time. China's
right.
building it
hmm
now in the new technology age, right? So they build in the Wi-Fi, they build in green technology, they're solar paneling. I mean, they're using more modern technology to build it. So they're building it in a different place. And the Chinese even say that they're a newer economy, whereas the U.S. is
hmm
more mature. So because the U.S. is more mature, as a more mature, established economy, it's different. Whereas China is brand new, so they have the luxury of being able to have the money to build these massive skyscrapers, and the Chinese have a lot of pride. If they're going to do something, they're going to do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I want to capture in this too is, and we kind of skipped over. We talked a little bit about Ellie and what it is. Yet there's also a philanthropic component to it, Ellie. It's not just go over
Absolutely.
there and train people, but also some of the proceeds are going to be used to help some people when it's done.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything Black Heart Circle does has a philanthropic component, and it helps fund Black Heart Circle Foundation. So every community we go into, you know, there's work that needs to be done and help that needs to be done. For example, with Usher's New Look Foundation in Atlanta, the money there went to support low-income children, youth in Atlanta. So a lot of African American youth in Atlanta participated in his work, in his workshops, and they all went on to, you know, graduate from high school and to move on to college to do some good in their life. And Usher started a program in Los Angeles as well. So we raised money for that program. Black Heart Circle Foundation did to help support that in Atlanta, for example. We've done events in LA and Chicago and New York as well. But for Shanghai, you know, there's an I don't want to say it's a problem, but there are a lot of orphans in China who aren't looked after. So we want to help support an orphanage in the Shanghai area. So 15% of proceeds raised from this executive leadership exchange will go to support an orphanage in China, one that I've already personally visited. So I've already seen it with my own eyes, and which again is very rare. They usually don't let foreigners into Chinese-controlled orphanages. It's just a sensitive thing, but they allowed me access to it. So yeah, that's something that's really important. It's inherent in what we do. It's automatic. So, just automatically by our corporate governance and our philosophy is to donate to charity and philanthropy, specifically the Black Heart Circle Foundation, so that we can support local causes in the communities we serve and do business in.
And people by going to blackheartcircle.com can learn more about Ellie, correct? And the curriculum.
Yep, go to Black Heart Circle. Yep, there's a 7-minute video on the homepage. There's a 1-minute slideshow as well. And if you just go to blackheartcircle.com, you can click on our link there and look at the slideshow and the video and then learn more about the curriculum and the faculty members. You'll be meeting the president of Shanghai Media Group, the president or vice president of the State Administration of Film, Radio, and Television, which is the U.S. equivalent of the FCC. And mind you, nobody has direct access to these folks. Even Hollywood doesn't have direct access, and we're providing it. First time in history that this is being offered through the China Executive Leadership Academy Pudong. And that academy is a special central government academy that trains all the government elite. So the governors and mayors of China all go to this academy to train. And it's not open to foreigners. It's not even open to the regular Chinese population. So if you're a Chinese citizen, you can't even step foot into this academy. So this is a very special invitation-only event, and it's exclusive to Black Heart Circle.
One other thing I wanted to ask him, and he may or may not want to talk about this, but I hear that there's a future project, social media project that you're going to be a part of. You want to speak to that a little bit?
You mean in terms of Black Heart Circle social network?
Yes.
Yes. So one thing, Corey and Lionel, you guys have done such a good job with the foundation. I've asked both of you for your advice and counsel and bringing you part of our web team that's going to build a social network to bridge the U.S. and China. So like I mentioned earlier, Facebook doesn't work in China, Twitter doesn't work in China, and then Weibo and Kaixinwang, for example, Americans really can't read Chinese or don't have any, much interest in connecting there. Black Heart Circle will be the first social network to connect both nations. And so we're going to be working on that component.
That's going to be huge and amazing. So
you're going to keep me busy and keep you guys busy. So once we get the executive leadership exchange launched, we're gonna have participants from Ely participate in the social network, and also have the government officials sign up too, so that people will have access to these government officials or their representatives through Black Heart Circle social network.
This is going to change the world. So this is an absolutely amazing project. So we're honored to have any part of it. So.
Well, I'm happy and honored, and you guys are a part of it. So, it was God's grace that brought you guys into my life, and I'm grateful to God to have this opportunity.
Okay. Do you have, because we know that you're a busy man and have a full day and schedule, and there's some preparatory work that you have to do for Ellie. You know that. So do you have any thoughts that you would like to share, or anything that you'd like to talk about before we end this?
No, just again, thank you guys for this opportunity to allow me to share this historic event. Very excited about it, and I just hope that the sooner we do it, the sooner we can connect these two great nations together to do commerce. There's old saying that whenever people are making money, there's no time for arguments or conflict, and we want to create a peaceful world, right? So I know Americans are peace loving. I know the Chinese are peace loving. The Chinese brag about the fact that for the last 30 years they haven't had any conflicts, and so the Chinese more than ever want peace, and I know the Americans do. And I think by creating this bridge between the two nations, not only are we going to be able to do commerce and philanthropy, we're also going to be able to create peace amongst the world. So that's the ultimate end goal. And it's going to take a lot of work, but I'm up for it, and I have a lot of time to do it. So I'm still relatively young. I'm only 40. So there's a lot.
I'm a little bit older, but you also said something in a point. I guess we talked a little bit over and around it, but I also don't want to skip it. And you talked about, yes, we want peace. We have peace when we make money, conduct and honor. But in the Asian culture, the Chinese culture, all the time people talk about the concept of faith and honor. And before we go, I guess, could you just very briefly, Americanize what that means, so that the participants in Ellie and people going over there understand, say, how they would conduct themselves versus, say, how they would conduct themselves if you were just transacting business or having meetings here in America?
Yeah, I mean, face is mainly just is a sense of having honor and dignity and being respectful, both of yourself and of others. So, just having deference. One thing about the executive leadership exchange, there will be a cultural and business customs component to it, so people will learn how to do business in China. There's different nuances of doing businesses in different countries. For example, in Japan, you have to bow. In China, you don't. But people don't understand the difference. So Ely will offer businesses and entrepreneurs this opportunity to learn the distinctions between the two nations and different cultures and how to most effectively do business in China. For example, when you hand a business card in China, you hand it with both your hands very respectfully, and you hand it to them as if it represents you, and you hand it to them, and they receive it with two hands as well. So it's almost like it's something that we don't even consider here in the U.S., but in China, it's a big deal. So it's a sign of respect. That's one example. The face element. The face element is basically you don't embarrass your host. You don't embarrass yourself. You just, there's a degree of respect for authority and deference and deferential treatment for people in general, and it's something that revolves around honor and dignity. So those are all important components. It's like thinking about when you're in school and you're just talking to your professor. You just want to be respectful of their position. So that is basically how it works in China. And again, that's a very general example, but that's just one example.
Well, that's outstanding. Corey, do you have anything or any other questions?
No, that was great information. And I know Mr. Yang is very busy, so probably need to let him go. But thank you for the great information. Thank you for everything, for just coming on and gracing us with this information. So,
well, thank you both for this opportunity, and then also thank you both for serving on Black Heart Circle Foundation's board as well. You guys are both the brains behind our technology. So I'm grateful. I can't serve. I can't help people. It's not about me. It's about us helping people. So thank you, Lionel. Thank you, Corey, for your dedication and commitment to the community. Truly, you guys are making a difference. There's so many people that count on us, and you guys drive that engine for us on the technology side. So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you and show you my appreciation and gratitude. I really appreciate both of you, so thank you very much.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve.
Absolutely.
So, gentlemen, have a good weekend. You guys know how to reach me, and I'm going to be heading off to Sony Studios now to participate in some panels and different meetings. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lotay. Have a great day out there.
All right. Enjoy your Saturday.
We plan to.